praying and fasting. And I'm like, I can't do abortion. So I said to the doctor, I said, you know what? We're going to let God decide. We're going to do natural selection. Then all of a sudden, I said, reached down in between my legs and I said, I feel something weird. She opened my legs and was like, oh my God. Jumped in the bed with me, started to push her hand up inside of my vagina. What's happening? What's happening? So when the nurses and all the other doctors started coming in, she said the umbilical cord is out. I don't care what you're saying right now. The Lord promised me a baby. He promised me a baby.
Hey, everybody, and welcome back to Armed with Your Testimony podcast. And this episode will leave you shocked. When I first heard this guest's testimony, I was completely blown away by her story, and you will be as well. So help me welcome my beautiful sister to the podcast, Christine. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling great.
I'm so happy to have you on today.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
Y'all, so when she agreed to do the podcast, I mean, my stomach was like bubbling with butterflies because I know for sure that none of y'all, maybe a small percentage, maybe, have heard a story like this. But when I heard it at church, and everybody that was in the audience during our prayer breakfast, when they heard it, they were in complete awe. A powerful testimony. I'm not trying to put too much pressure on you or anything like that, but I must say, just a little bit. But I must say, it is a wonderful testimony. And without further ado, we're going to jump right into the beginning of everything. Now, my first question is this. When you were told that you was going to have not one, not two, but 3 babies, how did that make you feel?
I was in shock. My husband and I struggled to conceive. So we consulted with a fertility specialist.
Okay.
Several visits. It's a lot entailed with going to a fertility doctor. Everyone has to be tested. Myself, my husband, the eggs, the sperm count, everything. It's a whole process. Once we were comfortable with the specialist, we said, okay, let's get it done. Let's try.
Okay.
It's called in vitro fertilization.
Okay.
So once we were comfortable with a doctor, he said, listen, I'm going to extract embryos. Once the embryos are extracted, then we're going to inject your husband's semen into the embryo, and then we'll see which embryos take, which ones will become viable.
Okay.
Once he did that process, we get the phone call. He says, okay, I got some viable eggs. They're fertilized. Time for an implant. That's a whole nother process of preparing your body, making sure that the environment is going to be suitable for the embryos to be placed.
When you say environment, you're talking about
your uterus.
Uterus. Okay.
Is now titled your environment. So the environment of your uterus has to be as if it was naturally conceived.
Wow.
So you're talking hormone stabilization. You're talking your temperatures have to be right. You're talking everything has to be as if there was no assistance with a doctor. So that entails injections, timing of the injections, diet, everything, rest, stress, everything. God is so awesome in that he creates this perfect machine. I think women take for granted that our bodies are this natural, well oiled machine.
Goodness.
The hormones, the temperature, the blood, the everything is perfect to hold an embryo, to allow it to grow.
Yeah.
So once we did that and everything was suitable, had to go in, they implant the embryos. That's a whole nother process because
Gracious.
one can take, none can take.
Really?
So it wasn't our first go round. And those of us who don't have medical insurance, it's that's a whole nother podcast in and of itself
Oh yeah,
because of
we'll be here.
the cost of the
Oh my
IVF
God.
process. So once they do the implant, there's no movement, it's bed rest because they need the implant to take.
For how long is the bed rest though?
As long as that implant takes,
So how long did it take
you
for
will
you?
not move. So I was on bed rest for 3 weeks.
Oh my Lord.
You get up to go to the bathroom, that's pretty much it. So my mother-in-law came and tended to me. She was cooking, she was taking care of the other kids, she was doing it all,
Yeah.
cleaning, everything. My husband was still working and everything. And of course, I wasn't working. I had to take a leave of absence.
Yeah.
Fast forward, I said, Charles, go get pregnancy tests. He's like, what are you talking about? I said, go get a pregnancy test.
Yeah.
Took a pregnancy test, positive. Went to the doctor. Of course, you had to confirm and do the blood work and all of that. And what they test for is what's called the HCG levels
Yes.
in
I'm
your
familiar
blood.
with that.
And they were through the roof. And he said, congratulations, you're pregnant.
Now, was the levels really high because of the fact that you had three? Be- so did that kind of like spark a light bulb in the doctor's head to say, okay, now we need to check to see if this is more than one because these levels is jumping.
Right. Well, he couldn't even confirm how many yet because he had
Right.
to wait to do the whole sonogram and the ultrasound and all of that to determine how many took.
Yeah. Okay. Let me be
So at
quiet.
that
Go ahead.
time, we didn't know. I just knew, okay, we're pregnant. Yay. The doctor was excited. Everybody was excited. So I'm like, okay, we're pregnant. And that's pretty much where the story begins. Once time passed, now a couple weeks passed, and we had to go back in
For the
and get the
sonogram.
sonogram and all of that. Did the sonogram.
I've been waiting for this part.
After he said this is a baseball team, my husband and I looked at each other like, what are we talking about here? He said, we have three. And we just kind of stared at him in shock, like, okay, we were prepared for the one. And
Right.
we're thinking, okay, he's just gonna tell us, oh, the fetus looks great, it's da da dee da da. That's what we were expecting.
Expecting.
But not expecting you have three that took. Especially coming from when we first did it and none took.
Nothing.
So to have three take was a miracle in and of itself.
So, like, how did you? I on the ride home, I don't, I don't know if I would be speechless. I don't know if I was in full blown worship and prayer, thanking the Lord. What?
Just the shock, and doctors do what they do. And he was like, we can do what's called extraction, and we can bring it down to one, or we can just let it be. And
Wait a minute.
yeah.
I don't know how I feel about that question.
Yeah. Extraction.
So, what? How did you feel when he asked you that?
So immediately you're thinking, okay, extraction. So what you're saying is really abortion.
Right.
And I just remember thinking to myself, the amount of crying and praying and pleading out to God to say, Lord, just bless me with a child. This is all I wanted. This is all I'm praying for. I'm thinking about the injections, and I'm thinking about going back and forth to the doctor, and I'm thinking about the blood tests, and I'm thinking about the countless sleepless nights and praying and fasting. And I'm like, I can't do abortion. So
Right.
I said to the doctor, I said, you know what? We're going to let God decide. We're
Come
going to
on.
do natural,
Come on.
natural selection. So if the Lord don't want 3, or if the
Yeah.
Lord want 2, or whatever it is, we're going to let God decide.
And that's essentially let your will be done,
That's
Lord,
right.
in process.
That's right. That's right. And, you know, we went home and we're just, after the initial shock and the praising and the crying and the, oh, Lord, and thank you, Lord. You're just shouting and you're crying and you're crying and you're shouting or after all of that, and it calmed down, then it's like, okay, now, Lord, what we do? What we do with these 3? 3. Okay. So now mentally, now we have to prepare for 3, not 1,
Yeah.
3.
College tuition.
And it's amazing that God just starts sending you people.
Yes.
He starts sending you information, downloads from everywhere.
Yeah.
It could be the radio, the TV, a friend, a coworker, somebody in the grocery store. But I'm just like,
Goodness.
look at the Lord
Thank you,
making a
Lord.
way
Thank you, Lord.
where you're thinking now, not even, He didn't even give us a minute to consider finances
Because he had you.
because He knew He was providing before we even could worry. He sent all kinds of avenues, all kinds of people, all kinds of products. I had a whole area of a room that was just loaded with diapers, formula, nipples, bottles, everything you could think of. And then we started reaching out to different people in the church and just kind of telling them about what was going on. And the whole congregation they just held us up in prayer. They just, the Hyatts are going through and we got to, with the community and get together and da, 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 da. I had everybody from the choir members to the people in the congregation coming over because they knew now I was on bed rest.
I was just going to ask you that question. You said that, everybody in the congregation knew that you were going through. So my next question was going to ask, what were you really going through at that time? You said you was on bed rest. Were you experiencing any type of complications as
So,
well?
because I was so small,
Okay.
I had these 3 babies growing inside of me. So, as they're growing, my body was almost to the point where it couldn't grow to accommodate them. So, any little thing that was strenuous, or even I remember not being able to raise my arms over my head. So you couldn't like reach into a top shelf and pull something down to
Okay.
say cook or do anything like that because of it's too much of a stretch, too much of a strain. Any little thing that you can think of that makes your body move or creates stress in your body, the doctor did not want me to do. Bathroom, bed, bathroom, bed, bathroom, bed. That was my life. So I didn't feel in pain.
That's good.
I didn't feel bad. I felt like I was Superwoman. I remember just before they put me on bed rest, I was adamant about going to this like open market in Queens. I never forget it.
Look at.
I had on a cream outfit. It was like a pantsuit I had on. Cutest little maternity
Let me
thing.
tell y'all really quick. When I tell you she's a fashionista, I can only imagine how she stepped out, especially with these babies showing in the belly.
It was, I just, and it was a kitten heel. Okay. And
I love the kittens.
I'm walking around with these, I'm thinking I'm doing something because I'm like, it's a kitten heel. It's a kitten heel. It's safe. It's safe. But I just wanted to walk. I just wanted to get out and get some fresh air and see stuff. So I'm walking. We walked for hours. We were in the flea market in
Not
Queens.
for hours. You wasn't even supposed to
I
be
wasn't even supposed
out.
to be out. Wasn't even supposed to be out. But I felt great. Came back home. I said, oh, I feel weird.
Oh my God.
So he was like, do you need to go to the doctor weird or what? What's the
Like,
weird?
what's going on? Help me out
So
here.
I'm like, okay, I feel like I gotta pee real bad. I feel like I gotta really, really pee. So he's like, well, we'll go use the bathroom. I was like, no, but this is different kind of pee.
Before you go on though, how far along in your pregnancy were you?
18 weeks.
Oh my God.
18 weeks. And I didn't know. I thought I really just had to use the bathroom.
Yeah.
I had no idea what was really happening because I felt I wasn't cramping. I didn't feel nauseous. I felt amazing. So I'm like, I gotta pee. Went to the bathroom and I'm like, okay, this is not stopping. So he's like, we gotta go to the hospital. We gotta go to the hospital. Get in the car, call my sister. Meet us at the hospital. So she's charging over. She gets there. And on the way to the hospital, we get out of the car and the water just kept on coming.
Good gracious. How big were you though?
I was
To
huge.
have so much water.
My stomach was the size of a 9-month pregnancy.
At 18
At
weeks.
18 weeks, my stomach was huge. And it was all belly. All belly. It was like they were just sucking everything out of me. It was all belly. So my water broke. Get to the hospital. I says, okay, Charles, call the doctor, let him know that we're on the way to the hospital.
Yeah.
The water broke. Da. So he's making all the phone calls. My sister gets there. She's starting to make phone calls because, of course, my husband's hysterical. So doctor gets there, and I remember laying on the table, and I'm like, Lord, what is happening? What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? And because I'm just so confused. And then I remember the doctor saying to me, you're at 18 weeks. There is no way that you're going to be able to have these babies. And it was like, when you think about the show Charlie Brown and the teacher goes, wah, 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 wah. That's how I heard him talking. It was like he was talking and I was not even hearing what he was saying to me because I was like, there's no way. I don't believe that. There's no way.
Yeah.
And then I said, I don't care. I don't care what you're saying right now. The Lord promised me a baby. He promised me a baby. And that man looked at me like, I don't know if it was pity that was on his face or, but it just, I remember his face feeling like, you just don't even know. Like and that time I couldn't, I couldn't accept his facial expression. I couldn't because I knew if I accepted what I was reading off of his face,
Yeah.
then I would now believe what he was believing and what he was thinking.
Yeah.
And I was like, nope, God promised me a baby.
Yeah.
And that was the end of it. No doctor from that point on that came into that room said anything to me that I accepted or that I believed. From that 18th week, I never left the hospital. I checked in and I ain't checked back out. So, mind you, no bag was packed
Of course
because there
not.
was no expectation of your water gonna break in 18 weeks and then you gonna be in the hospital and not ever come back home.
So how long were you in the hospital? Not to jump forward, 'cause I'm gonna jump right back. I just wanted to know how long. 18 weeks to when?
To 26 weeks. And from 18 to 26 weeks, I was in what was called a tendril position.
Okay.
Then it became almost like I was a case study. The interns were coming, the residents were coming, and they were all being introduced to me. And I'm just like, okay. I got to the point where I know this is weird, but I was so comfortable with multitudes of people in my room and examining me and talking to me and questioning me because they were all in disbelief because they all knew I came in with my water broke with 3 embryos inside and I was still in the hospital. I still wasn't having contractions. I still wasn't going into labor. So they're just like, what is happening? What is happening right now? I remember having headphones and music on the headphones. And I remember putting the headphones on my belly. And I'm going to tell you, Kirk Franklin's, that he had the one album that was so anointed. That was, it was, I think it was Kirk Franklin and the Family.
Family. Mm-hmm.
When I say I played that CD over and over and over and over and over, and I can feel them just dancing in my belly. From in the womb, the peace that was over me, people could not grasp why I was not in there hysterical, crying, panicking, worrying. I wasn't angry. I wasn't sad. I can't even explain
The peace
the
that surpasses
peace.
all understanding.
The peace that was over me, it was just like God was telling me the whole time, I got this. This ain't for you to deal with. I got this. So I remember sitting up in the bed watching TV, and I was like, I want some West Indian food because my background is Caribbean. So I said, I want some rice and peas, and I want some oxtail, and I want some plantain, and I just wanted it. And I'm sitting up in the bed. My husband went and got it for me, and I'm sitting there, I'm eating it, and I said, ooh, felt something. I said, ooh, I felt something again. I'm like, ooh. Husband took the food. He was like, you okay? Want me to get the nurse? I said, yeah. Ooh. Nurse came in, put the monitors on my stomach. She said, you're in labor.
And how far along were you in?
Now we're talking 20 weeks, 22 weeks. Okay. And I'm like, oh God. So the doctor came in and said, they won't be viable. They will not be viable. We cannot deliver now. We can't deliver. We can't. And I'm just like, oh Lord, oh Lord. Oh God, not again. Because I'm thinking now, I'm like, okay, the Lord done got me out the woods already. My water broke at 18 weeks. I'm good, but I'm good. I'm 20 something weeks now. I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna make it. They kept saying, we just need to get to 28 weeks. We need to get to 28 weeks. They'll be viable at 28 weeks. They'll be viable at 28 weeks. So I'm like, okay, Lord, you heard them. I got to get to 28 weeks. We just got to get to 28 weeks. So I'm here in 24-ish, 22-ish or whatever. And I'm like, this ain't 28. This ain't 28, Lord. Oh, you're in labor. I said, oh my God, oh my God. The tears.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh God, oh God, oh God. This is it. It's the, and I started praying. I started praying. Charles called the church. He's pastor. This is what they all got to praying. Everybody praying. Family praying. Sister praying. She was a wreck. But she bawling more than anything else. But the prayers started going up. The prayers started going up. Contractions. They kept trying to. I said, take that. I remember saying, take this thing off of me. They don't like it. Take this thing off of me. They don't like it. They said, Mrs. Hyatt, we have to keep it on you. We have to monitor the babies. We have to monitor the contractor. I said, they don't like it. I kept screaming, they don't like it. We have to keep it on. Finally, they said, okay, it's delivery. You got to deliver it. The baby's coming out. They break down the room. Room turns into an OR.
Reality sets in.
And I'm like, oh my God, this is happening. Oh my God. So here we go. They put the baggie on my head. They cleaning me up, and the doctor's there. The nurses are all around me. And they're like, okay, my legs go up, my foot goes in the things, and I'm just. At this point, it's so much happening. I just remember so many people in the room and so much happening, and them just saying, push. And I'm just like, what? They're like, push, the baby's coming out. And I'm just like, oh my God. And it's like everything inside of me didn't want to. Because I'm like, no, it's not time. And then my body started to naturally push itself. Like this feeling of having to move your bowels is what it felt like. Like I just wanted to push it out. And then in the inside of my mind, I'm saying, no, I don't want to push. Because in the back of my mind, I'm saying, it's not time. So I'm trying to hold it back. And then the body is fighting against it. The mind is, and I'm like, Lord, and I'm talking to the Lord, and I'm praying, and the body is doing one thing, and my mind is doing another, and my spirit doing another. And it's just chaos. And I push, and I feel this relief come through my legs. And they moved from being in front of me to the side of me. And then all of a sudden the whole feeling down beneath me stopped. And almost a relief happened. And it's like I was able to breathe. And they said, okay, Mrs. Hyatt, you're okay. You're okay. You're okay. And then I hear them talking. And then I hear them putting the baby off to the side. And then I hear monitors beeping, 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 beeping. And then I hear like them like working and work. It's like there was so much activity going on, so much movement happening. And then in my mind, I'm saying, Lord, what is happening? I don't even know what's happening right now. Because I'm thinking, okay, was that it? It's Is it over? Is that it? So now they move everything out of the room. And I'm laying there and I'm like, the doctor comes to my side and he says, you delivered. And I said, I delivered? He said, you delivered one. And I said, what do you mean I delivered one? He said, you delivered one, Mrs. Hyatt, and it's it's not it's not going to survive. It's not going to survive. She's breathing right now. Her heart is beating, but it's not strong enough, Miss Hyatt. She's not going to make it. And I just laid there, numb, just numb, not knowing what to say or how to say it, or I just had the feeling of, don't get angry. Don't get angry. And the doctor said, do you want to see her? And I said no. Immediately, I said no. And they removed everything out of the room. And I just remember, I don't know if they gave me something. I'm sure they must have given me something. And I remember sleeping for a long time. Sleeping. And then when I woke up, my husband was crying. And he was just, just, my sister was crying. And I just, and I'm just like, it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
It's going to be okay. She lived for 4 hours. 4 hours. So when we talk about life in the womb, they are alive.
Yeah.
It ain't no
That's a good point.
jelly. It ain't no, oh, it's just an egg. It's just they are alive. You're talking 20 something weeks. And she was breathing, heart beating. A real person.
Yeah.
So I never saw her. I didn't want to.
Yeah.
The pastor took care of everything. They told me later on when I was able to hear it,
Yeah.
because at that time I wasn't able
Yeah.
to hear any details. But She had a dress on. They did put her in a little tiny casket, and she was buried. My pastor took care of everything, and my own self-preservation would not allow me to know anything. Till this day, I don't know anything else because I mentally
Yeah.
I had to preserve.
Yeah. You have to do.
I had to.
Ooh.
So once the doctors came back in, then it was the next blow. Then it was we had to start you on a whole stream of antibiotics.
So you never gave birth to the other two right after she
Still
came out?
pregnant with twins.
Okay.
Two more inside. They said, Mrs. Hyatt, we had to start you on antibiotics. Heavy, heavy doses of antibiotics. Because what can happen now is you can get sepsis and you can die. Because you went through a delivery, you are now open. So the chances of infection are high.
So they couldn't close you.
Because I was pregnant still with two. So the doctor said, I'm going to check on you again to make sure that we can hold on to the other two. But if you start to develop an infection, we're going to have to take them. So in my mind, I was like, now I know what to pray for. Now I know what to pray for. When I tell people all the time, be specific in your prayers.
Oh my God, we just talked about this. We just talked about that.
Be specific. It was almost as if I was given a heads up of what the enemy was trying to do. Then it was, okay, all right, Lord, I'm not going to get an infection.
Speak it.
I'm not going to deliver these two babies.
Speak it.
I'm not going to need them to sew me up. I'm not going to need any of that. And regardless of what they're telling me and regardless of what they're doing to me right now, that's not my reality. It's just not.
Yeah.
When I say that was the most trying test of my faith that I have ever experienced, ever. That true test of, are you going to really trust me? Say what you want out your mouth. But are you going to trust me in the darkest, darkest hours? Are you going to lean on me? All that Bible thumping you doing, all that church you going to, all that singing and praising and worshiping, and oh, you love the church, you love the Lord. Now's the test. Now let me see where your faith is. I never forget always thinking about the faith of a mustard seed. That just kept coming back to me. And it wasn't a reality until I saw a little mustard seed. And I'm just like, that's all it takes. But you gotta really, when I say you gotta believe,
You gotta believe.
beyond any, and it's the hardest thing When you are laying somewhere and you're talking about medical staff, you
Yeah.
talking about surgeons, you talking about the best of the best, telling you that this is what it's going to be. But then you combating it and saying, that's not what God said.
Yeah.
That's not what the Lord has for me. This is not what I was promised. So I'm on all these antibiotics. That's fine. Okay. I'm getting all these antibiotics. He came back 3 days later
Okay.
for the exam because he said, I need to check, make sure everything is okay down there because I may have to put a stitch.
Okay.
I remember him examining me and him saying, well, I I don't have to stitch you.
Moments like that, when God does stuff like that, it increases your faith.
Mm,
It's like He gives you just enough to keep you going,
mm.
as long as you're faithful in your faith
All that
to
was
Him.
confirmation.
Confirmation to continue to
Trust
fight
him.
and trust
Trust him.
Him.
When I say that man was in disbelief, he said, it looks as if nothing came out of you.
God Almighty.
He sat on the side of my bed and said, you're one for the history books. I've never seen nothing like this in my years of practice.
Say that one more time. You're one for the what?
You are one for the history books.
Because He never seen.
Never. He was the best obstetrics and gynecology doctor you could get. The best. And I said, look at God. Look who he sent to me. My girlfriend was a nurse, and she worked alongside of him
Wow.
and knew
God,
he
the details
was
of this.
the best. And that's who she recommended
Yeah.
to be my OBGYN.
The details of how He planned everything
Everything was planned.
perfectly.
Everything. The nurses started to ask me, are we supposed to know who you are? And I said, what do you mean? They kept asking me, are we supposed to know who you are? And I said, my name is Christine, but I don't know what else. They're like, because we just keep feeling like we're supposed to know who you are. I I was confused.
Yeah.
So they started sending me people, women, that were in the hospital that had lost their children. And they would wheel them in and they would sit in their little wheelchair and I'd be talking with them and they'd be crying hysterically and I'd be giving them a word. And I'd be an encouragement to them. And I would pray with them and pray for them and tell them, it will be okay and the Lord has them. And, everything that the Holy Spirit put in me to say to them was just flowing out of my mouth. I don't know if they were saved, unsaved, whatever the case may be, but I'm sure whatever it was that I was saying at the time was impactful.
Needed. They needed it.
I don't know if somebody could have tried to commit suicide. Because when I tell you these women were in despair,
Yeah.
And they're looking at me like, you just went through this and you smiling and
Still going through.
you still going through, but you encouraging me. You making me feel good.
And I need what you have.
I'ma need that.
Yeah. And we know what that is.
I'ma need that.
God.
I'ma need that peace.
Mm-hmm.
I'ma need that faith
Mm-hmm.
to endure.
Yeah.
I'ma need that kind of
Yeah.
spirit.
Yeah.
That warring spirit.
Mm-hmm.
That whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That's not so.
I'm still blessed.
I'm still blessed. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to still. They didn't know my story.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't know the struggle that I went through to even have babies. They had no idea. Nor was that something that the Lord wanted me to reveal to them.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't about that. It wasn't about me.
Mm-hmm.
It was about reaching them, having me give them that encouragement to keep going.
And what better person who just went through something that they went through? It's one thing to hear someone say have hope and never experience what you've been through.
Yes.
But to have someone who just went through what you went through and yet still going through
Yes.
encourage you,
Yes.
that hits deeper,
Yes.
way deeper.
Yes. So after I had my whole, counseling sessions with this one, that one, this one, that one, this one, I don't remember how many women they
But
brought
that
to
was
me.
had to be kind of like healing for you too.
Absolutely.
Because you're talking about it.
Absolutely.
You're not just stashing it.
Absolutely.
You're releasing it.
Yes. Yes. And at that time, I didn't even realize what the Lord was doing.
Yeah.
And it was almost therapeutic. It was healing me.
That part.
It was making me smile to make someone else feel good. It
Yes.
made me come out of myself.
Yeah. Because it's not about
It
us.
wasn't about me. It wasn't about me. And I started to feel like this may have all been for this woman to hear, or that woman to hear. Just this experience, or even my doctor that may have been losing his faith. I don't know. But I know it was God.
And we may never
I
know.
know it was God.
However, we know.
However,
We know. We don't
absolutely.
know the specifics and the details, but we know.
We know. So I remember watching TV and I started feeling this weird feeling again in my stomach. And it was that familiar feeling. And I had gotten kind of comfortable, right? Because I wasn't feeling nothing. I was feeling good. Then that old feeling came back, and I said, "Uh-oh." And I said to the nurse, I said, "I feel weird. It's something going on in my stomach." She said, "Let me get these monitors on you. Let me get these monitors on you." I said, "I'm not in pain. I'm feeling weird. It's just that feeling." She says, "Okay, let me get you hooked up." So she hooked me up, and she's hearing the heartbeats, and it's such a beautiful sound.
Yes, it is.
Such a beautiful sound. And I started like a little twinge, and then a twinge, and then a twinge, and I said, "This don't feel good. This don't feel good." I said, "Take it off, take it off, take it off, take it off, take it off." And she said, "No, no, 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 no. We can't take it off. We can't take it off. The doctor has to see. He has to see what's going on." And I was like, "Take it off, take it off." It's like every time they put the thing on me, it's like they didn't like it.
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain it, but they didn't like it. And I'm like, "Take it off, take it off." Change my mind, take it off, take it off. She's like, "No, we can't take it off." Then all of a sudden, I said, I reached down in between my legs and I said, "I feel something weird." And she said, "What do you mean, hon?" And I said, "I feel something weird. What is this?" So she opened my legs, excuse the candidness, but she opened my legs and was like, oh my God. Jumped in the bed with me, started to push her hand up inside of my vagina.
Baby was coming out.
Whatever button she pressed or whatever the case may be, the transforming of the room began again. And I'm like, what? What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? I'm not in any pain, mind you. I'm like, what's happening? What's happening? So when the nurses and all the other doctors started coming in, she said the umbilical cord is out. She literally was in the bed with me, her hand up inside of my vagina, holding the umbilical cord inside of me. So I would not push. All I could do was lay there with this woman's hand up inside of me, not knowing what's happening. I didn't know what's happening.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I think I'm a pretty smart girl. I've never heard of an umbilical cord hanging out of somebody. I've never heard of such a thing. So they break down the room. The nurse is still in the bed with me. Breaking down the room. They now have to get the surgeon. They got to get my OB. They suit up. They boot up. They getting ready. They're like, okay, we're going to have to lean you up because we're going to have to give you an epidural. I'm like, you have to give me an epidural? He said, Miss Hyatt, they're coming. We can't stop it this time. We got to take them. We can't take a chance. We cannot take another chance. We got to get them out. So I don't know if they saw something. I don't know if all I remember him saying was, we got to get them out today. They coming out. So I remember leaning forward and I remember them saying, don't move, don't move, don't move. And I'm like, okay, I'm not going to move. I'm not going to move. Everything now goes numb down from my waist.
Yeah.
All the way down to my feet. My husband gets there. So they're like, okay, we're going to take him. We don't want you pushing. We're going to take him. We'll give you a C-section. We got to take him. And I'm like, but I'm not at 28 weeks. I'm not at 28. I'm not at 28. I just kept saying, I'm not at 28. I'm not at 28. They were like, we got to take him. So, do the C-section. And my husband's on my side and I can hear him. He's holding my hand and they got the big blue sheet over across me. And I'm trying to look, but I don't want to look. I'm trying to look, but I don't want to look. And I'm just like, oh my God, all this stuff is going on under the blanket or sheet or whatever. And I don't know what's happening. Then I heard a sound. And I'm like, that's a sound. That's a sound. That's a cry. Then another one. Like, oh, that's another sound. That's a cry. That's a cry. So my husband's crying. He's like, they got them out. 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 And then I remember sleeping. And then I remember them saying, it's a boy and a girl. They're in an isolette in the NICU. And I'm just like, okay. And they're like, they're very tiny. They're very, very tiny. And we're just going to remain optimistic. So in my mind, I'm like, I know what that means.
Yeah.
Fought against it. Fought in my mind, I'm saying, I don't care. I don't care what you're saying. I don't care. I don't care what you're saying. We're going to remain optimistic, Mrs. Hyatt, but you know what? They're very tiny. They're on breathing tubes. They're intubated. They're not breathing on their own. So we're going to remain optimistic. They're very, very tiny. And I just remember saying, Lord, help me. Help me do this because I don't know if I could go through this again. Help me do this. Help me do this. Help me do this. So it got to a point when they were saying that I could see them in the NICU. And mind you, they stitched me up and all of that. And then when you have the C-section, of course, you're doing your own healing.
Yes. Very much so.
So it got to a point where I was able to be wheeled in to the NICU. And then I was able to see them both in their little isolates. And it was baby girl Hyatt, baby boy Hyatt. They didn't have no names. They just had the little baby girl Hyatt, baby boy Hyatt. And I just remember smiling and just, oh my God, look at them. Oh my God. Oh my God. 1 pound, 15 ounces. There was so many wires and tubes all over them that you could barely see skin. And I'm looking at these two little tiny, tiny babies. And I'm like, oh my God. I couldn't hold them. I couldn't touch them. I couldn't, because the environment had to be so sterile, and it's like they're mine, but they felt so out of reach
Yeah.
because I wanted to hold them. I wanted to bond with them. I wanted them to hear my voice. I wanted all of that. And I couldn't have it. And I just remember just saying, Lord, I just give me the strength. I just it got to the point where I didn't even know what else to ask. I didn't even know what else to pray because I didn't know. I just didn't know anymore. And I just started to say, this is on you. It's in your hands.
Yeah.
Because I'm powerless. I felt so powerless. Powerless. And it got to a point where I was able to go home. And I didn't want to go home. And they said, well, you have to go home. The babies are staying, but you have to go home.
Hey, y'all. I know you were expecting more from this episode, but guess what? We had to break it down into two parts. So, part two will be coming out on next Thursday. So, please go ahead and hit that notification bell and subscribe so that you will know when the episode drops. I look forward to seeing you next week. Be armed with your testimony and see you soon.